What was really important to me was to tell this story about what a modern family looks like. And against the backdrop of Michelle and Mark getting married, but also bringing in subtly the element of marriage equality, because Leo and Rich have been together for 15 years, together 10, married for 5, that's 15 years. And just gently exploring, what does that mean when you can finally get married and you've been together so long you don't really have a wedding? And of course, in this story, it affects them. And they their daughter Michelle doesn't want to have a traditional wedding. And she's saying, I don't want to do this. And I loved seeing that story come together, and I feel like it works. And what I love about this film is it doesn't hit you over the head. I mean, you can still see the comedy, the family elements, the pathos, but I feel like it all works. And it works not just because of the script, but because of the artistry of the cast.
I just loved being part of Fathers of the Bride because it's such a universal theme, a wedding and all the dysfunction and the family. But I love that it's kind of the perspective of two dads, which I don't really think has been shown that often. And all of the family dynamics are just so relatable in any family.
Perfect situation for that too. Holidays and weddings. It's
Yeah.
those two. Always those
Yeah.
two.
It was so universal. And
Yes.
the fact that, like, yes, Michelle was my daughter biologically, but Rich helped me raise her. And it shows people, whether, you're straight, whether you're gay, whether whatever, there's families that come in all different shapes and sizes and different things. So let's say you're a woman, you marry someone with a child, but you're basically raising that child. It shows that you love that child as if it's your own, as Bruce's character loved my daughter as if it was his own. Like that scene where I say, technically she's my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, how horrible is that to say?
Horrible.
Horrible. And like what that would make that person feel. So I think someone watching it would leave and maybe say,
Yeah.
geez, like it's so easy for that stuff to come out of your mouth in anger, but this person loves my child just as I love my child, as if it's their own. So if it touches someone's heart like that and opens up people's eyes a little bit, I think that it's a really good thing.
Yeah. With, the climate, the political, the socioeconomic climate and just what's going on, right now with all of these changes, and people might be feeling, a little off or scared. I know that there are people that are very, very scared. They're very terrified of the future. And I think this movie just brings hope and just reality, that this is reality. This is the way that, it needs to be. And I want people to watch it and say it's beautiful and everything, it's so hard not to like get too far over. I just think with what's going on in the world today, this movie is so important, and movies like it, we got to keep standing up and being proud and putting art like that out there.
To add on top of Brooke's point, I think especially the indie industry, especially like the smaller budget projects, have been exploring that a lot more. I've been seeing a lot of casting calls for characters that are LGBT. I've been seeing a huge push on that, and that really does make me happy. Because yeah, as Brooke said, these are, no matter what background you are from, these are really scary and frightening times. And something that my acting coach always tells me, which is an uncomfortable but also sort of like a bittersweet pill to swallow, is that trauma fuels your art. And that's what I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of people taking their struggles in their lives and turning that into film. And I just hope that that keeps going. And this is also a great example of that.
Well, I will just say this, I am never not going to make a film that does not have diversity and inclusion. Because most of my films take place in Los Angeles and we are a diverse community. And I'm not just talking about the LGBTQ plus community. We're talking
Yes.
Southern California, Los Angeles. The reason why the story is important to me is I simply wanted to show that there are all different kinds of families. And to Raphaella's point earlier, you still have the same struggles and the same resolutions and the same arguments. And I think for me, it's important to tell stories against a backdrop of not lecturing and
Yes.
not preaching. There's room for all kinds of stories, but what I like about this film is it's evenly weighted. You might follow the father's story, you might follow Raphaella's, angst about being single, maybe looking for another man, or you might follow, I shouldn't call you the kids, but you might follow Michelle and Mark's story. And I think we've succeeded. The reviews so far are pretty good, and it seems like it's doing well on the streaming platforms. So I'm excited about that. And it seems like it's playing well in different parts of the country. As my brother once said to me, he said, "We're not making films to amaze our family and friends. We're trying to entertain strangers." So
Yes.
I really hope that's what we do. And if anybody walks away with anything from this film, I hope it's just that family is family.
I do have a suggestion I think we all will love. I was talking to Pastor Michael about officiating, and he said he would be honored if we had the wedding at his church. It's beautiful, it's roomy, and they have that wonderful organ.
Well, we could consider it.
They don't even go to that church.
Rich, there's no requirement they be members of the congregation.
You know, Angela, with all due respect, your ideas seem like redos of your weddings. Now, we want something that's unique for Michelle and Mark.
Rich, I have more experience at this. As you pointed out, I have been married before.
Oh, of course, and we couldn't even get married until just a few years ago. Guess we need to catch up.